This has been an absolutely amazing experience all around, every single day.
Simply amazing. It blew me away.
National campus has been beautiful. Everything about it, the knowledge, everything that these tennis pros can give to us. Sometimes we take it for granted how smart and knowledgeable people are in this industry.
Working on this beautiful campus is a plus. It's very windows, sunshine all the time. And then college match days have been the best experience so far for me.
Hi, it's Coach Mick, and I just want to say, first of all,
okay, check out this game called Switch. Peak. The athletes have to follow.
Hi, I'm Coach Mick, Director of Experiential Learning right here at the USTA National Campus in Orlando, Florida. And in the last 2 months since we've been open, we've hosted the TCA Directors Workshop with directors from all over the country. We've hosted 40 ambassadors for our Net Generation program. Just last week, we hosted some PTM students from Ferris State University and Methodist University, where they took a workshop every day from an expert right here on campus. And also our Jorge Capestany workshops, which happened on the 21st and the 23rd of this month, where 80 pros and providers and players came from all over the country to see his tennis IQ and world-class tennis drills workshops. Now, our goal here at USTAU is to take this learning lab here, the USTA National Campus, and provide you with content both physically right here on campus and virtually through recorded workshops and live stream workshops. So take a look at this video, and I hope you enjoy what we've done here so far and can see the possibilities of what can happen here at the USTA National Campus. Hi, I'm Coach Mick.
All right, so we're going to get started here at the National Campus, everybody. My name is Coach Mick, and I am the Director of Experiential Learning here at the USTA National Campus. And what that means is experiential learning is learning by doing. You can watch somebody hit a forehand, or you can go out there and hit a bunch of forehands. All right, you can, and that's been going on since forever. But my job here is to make this campus a learning lab, both physically, like we're doing tonight, and virtually, actually, we're doing tonight as well, because we decided to live stream this event and do a live stream. So for those of you out there who are watching live, at the bottom of this page, there's a place to ask questions. So we want to make sure you guys ask some questions, and we can get Jorge to answer them tonight. And so we're going to be doing these workshops throughout the year. Our goal isn't to necessarily travel to clubs all over the nation. Eventually, we're going to be able to just send these workshops out all over the country for players, providers, coaches, playing pros to learn and enjoy the workshops here at the National Campus. But first of all, or secondly of all, I guess, I want to introduce Jorge Capestany. He's a very good friend of mine. He's a USPTA and PTR master professional, one of only 10 master professionals in both organizations in the whole world. He was the Alex Gordon 2015 USPTA National Pro of the Year. He is the creator and owner of TennisDrills.tv, and for you coaches that have seen TennisDrills.tv, who has experienced that. If not, make sure I'll send a link and you can check it out tonight. But he's got 1,800 drills. It's the #1 drill site in the world. It's a phenomenal site. And he's also the creator of JorgeCapestany.com, a free instructional website for players and a lot of teaching pros go there as well. So he's a very good friend of mine. We're both from Michigan. We're glad to get him down here in Orlando. Hopefully he'll come down a bunch of times. But what he's going to talk about tonight, and we're going to use this mic because our lapel mics are acting up on us tonight, is tennis IQ. And I'm going to give the mic over to Jorge. He's going to explain what's going to be going on tonight. And remember, we do have some assessments and competencies for net generation over here on the desk. If you haven't received yours, you can get yours at the end. And we may have a few extra strategy books as well for you guys tonight. So if you didn't get one, just let me know. Welcome, Jorge.
Thank you, guys. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for those of you that are watching live. I want to just start out by telling you a little bit about what you can expect tonight. You can expect some planes if you're hearing that already. Building tennis IQ, and this is the topic. And I started this presentation probably a couple of years ago. And if you follow me at all, you know I get the luxury of speaking at some pretty cool places. I've been all over the world making presentations. And this one was really resonating with coaches and players in particular. So I love talking on this topic. Let me tell you a little background on how this topic came to be a presentation with me. So my background is I'm a teaching pro. I'm currently managing a club, but all my life I've been a teaching pro. It's all been in Michigan in an indoor club. And over those 33 years I've been a coach, I've logged 63,000 hours on the court teaching. Probably another 16 to 17,000 watching my players at tournaments, juniors and adults. And I've learned a few things, okay? One of the things that I've always felt, and this is before having access to talk to a bunch of other coaches worldwide, but one of the things I always felt is, and maybe you feel this as a coach, maybe you feel this as a player or a coach, I kind of felt like, gosh, there's something wrong with my players. They're always telling me they can't win. They always feel a little less than. They kind of feel like they're not performing. If I ask them 3 questions and say, which one do you identify with the most? And here's the 3 questions. You can ask this to yourself. For the strokes that I have, I win more matches than I should. Okay, so strokes that you have, you win more matches than you should. Raise your hand. And when I do that to my club players, pretty much no one raises their hand. The second identifier is, tell me if this sounds like you. For the strokes that you have, you win about as much as you should. Okay, and I think about 20, 30% of the hands go up. When I asked this last one, unfortunately, for the strokes that you have, you're really not winning as much as you should. Raise your hand if that sounds like. And guess what? 70% of the hands go up. So I've done that little experiment in-house everywhere I speak, in China, in Australia, in Norway, Mexico. It's not just a Jorge problem in Michigan. It's not even a U.S. problem. A lot of players. Most of you know some online stuff, and one of the things I do is I survey the people that follow me so I can know what they want. And I have friends that are online coaches, and well, without a doubt, the number one frustration, I'm going to see if you can guess it. What do you think the number one frustration of the tennis player is? I'm not talking the pros. I'm talking club players, juniors, the people that we deal with every day and we teach every day. You want to guess what their number one frustration is? Just start guessing. Errors, okay, make a lot of errors, you said. That's up there, but it's not the number one. It's a feeling they have about themselves. Anybody else want to guess? As soon as I say it, a bunch of your heads are going, oh yeah. Here's the number one. And by the way, I have emailed surveys to over 100,000 email addresses. And my friends, much more than that, my online friends. And they all come back with this number one thing. It's by far the number one. It's in people's subject lines when we mail people. And it goes something like this. Do you play better in practice than you do in a match? A ton of people feel that way. That's a horrible feeling, by the way. Okay, so if you're following your outline, you'll see that we're going to get going on this, just so you know what to expect. We're going to go through this tennis IQ portion. It should take about an hour and a half, and I'm going to leave some time for questions and stuff. As we drill through this, I'm going to show you what I've learned of how I can get my players. So really, this was born out of my own frustration with my players kind of feeling bad about themselves and me feeling like maybe I'm not doing a good job communicating because I got all these sweet ball strikers. My people look great, but they weren't connecting the dot. They couldn't win, okay? So if you follow on your outline, I'll do the same thing. My premise is that tennis is 50% chess and 50% poker. So let's talk about that for a second. Chess is the time during the points, or just before the points. And the very best players plan, they just like a chess player, not that I'm good at chess, they plan 2-3 shots deep to the point. And most rec players don't. Most rec players are doing wing at tennis. And I'll show you an exercise I can do to help you figure that out. So that's what chess is. The very best players are doing things that are intentional, even though it might not look like it to the human eye. The poker part is the between the points. All right, so tennis players are horrible poker face people. Okay, you can, for most rec players, I could be sitting here looking at this beautiful national campus, 20 courts down, and I could tell almost always if one of my boys is winning or losing, just not even close, just by the way they're carrying themselves and their between point performance. So poker, this is a little odd to me, but if you watch, I see poker on TV once in a while, right? So I see poker, and it's on ESPN of all things. So I don't really watch it because I don't know how to play very well. But what I do notice when I spend a few seconds on the TV is they're in a casino. They aren't out by the pool. They're in a casino, and they're all wearing hoodies, and they got sunglasses, and it's dimly lit. And these guys are going the extra mile to make sure they don't give off any clue, not even a little bit of clue of what their hand is. They don't want to have anybody know. Okay, so they are experts. Now, if you watch that show, you'll see they'll show you what the cards are. And if all of a sudden someone has a really great hand, you don't see them in there going, yeah. No way. The stone face. If they have a crappy hand, you don't see them like, so, oh, God, come on. It's like, every time they don't do that. They're really good at it. So I think that analogy is kind of appropriate for tennis because junior in particular are fairly notorious at playing pretty bad poker. You can tell. Now, a little bit before we get hitting, it's really important that the players understand that if you have a negative thought or an angry thought come into your mind, that in and of itself doesn't make you weak. It's just your inability to get it out. If you rent space in your head to those bad thoughts or those bad shots and they live with you, that's on you. But the fact that you got in there a nasty thought like, oh, I just missed the third backhand down the line, if you're not a little ticked off, that's weird. You should be. You just can't show it. Okay, and you can't dwell on it. So let's keep going down the outline. So my motto is how you hit the ball matters, technique matters, but where you hit the ball matters more. This is just something I personally believe from teaching for so long. So we're going to talk about the 3 levels of IQ. The first one we're just going to mention. Then I'm going to show you how exercises and drills I use to help players improve in this area. So let me just define the 3 levels of tennis IQ. At the very beginning, when you have a brand new player, can do is deal with themselves and the ball, and that's it. Okay, how do I hit it? It's the how page. They're beginners, they're learners. Okay, they're just getting into the sport. You're not really talking strategy to them. You're not talking about that side of the court. You're just trying to teach them a lot of technique and how to receive the ball. That's pretty important. How to line up properly, and that's it. But let's go past that because most people are already past that. Here's what I think level 2. A lot of people stall out. Level 2 is now the player has grown up a little bit and they can handle them and the ball. They do those things well. But now they also start to think and play smart regarding their side. They get it. They know that if they're way back there, that's different than if they're way up here, and they play accordingly. They take it into consideration. Okay? Then the third level, which not that many people get to, the third level is when that player not only do him and the ball, they do good decisions on their side, but now they're bringing their attention and they can think about the other side of the court and the opponent. Because I like to say that you're the second most important person on the court. Let's dig in with 4 drills. I call the awareness drills. These are the ones I like the most. So the thing I'm going to do is just teach you a little system here of how I like to divide the court. This is not unique to me. I just like this system. So if you can see on the court here, I have 6 zones of the court. Starting right up here, this is zone 1, and as you go back to the back half, that's zone 2, zone 3, Timothy's standing in zone 4. Go to zone 5, buddy. Go to zone 5. That's behind the baseline. That's zone 5. And way back there, Rafa at the French Open, that's zone 6. Okay? Same thing right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I have that common knowledge, by the way, like this. It puts all my players and me on the same page. This is a good little system, if you will. So the number one thing I want you guys to do right now, guys, is just hit back and forth. If you look at your agenda, you can start hitting, guys. Yeah, exactly. This is Harrison. He belongs to Mick, and this is Timothy. They're best buddies. I just got him off the tour, the European French tour of 12s. Okay, go ahead, guys. Let's start with up, back, stay. So just go ahead and hit it, and you guys can do it. So I met with these guys this afternoon for about 10 minutes. So up, back, stay is just one of the awareness games. Because I found that when my players played, I'd ask questions as they play. You can just keep watching the players and listen to me. And they were clued out. They just had no idea. All of my basic questions, I don't know why. They didn't know. So up, back, stay just simply refers to the momentum of their body. So that's the back. And guys, let's just pause for a second. I want to be real clear. Coaches, get this out of here. This is an up ball. If you move up even the slightest bit, that's up. You yell out the word up. If you move on the same plane, this way, that's a stay ball. This is a stay ball. This is an up ball. This is a back ball. This is still a back ball. And now if I'm back here and I go sideways, that's a stay ball. Okay, so it's just dealing with if you're going up, back, just giving them awareness of their body. Okay, go ahead, do it, guys, and call it out loud because it's a big stadium. Okay, good. If the ball goes out of play, we'll just put in a new one. So coaches, as you're watching them do this, it takes about a minute for it to click, okay? Because we're asking for some mental agility. You're going to hit. Keep going, guys. Oh, never stop for me. Just keep hitting. And they're going to first like, oh, I got to think and hit. There's two things here. But this is a really important drill, and I'll show you why in a minute. This is just recreating awareness of your side and their side. We'll do it both ways. Okay, now, coaches, just so we're on the same page, we're all going to simultaneously do it with them. That's back, all together, coaches. That's up, that's back, that's back, that's back, that's kind of a backish stay, that's the back. Okay, good, guys, keep going. You see a theme here, by the way, when you do this? Keep going, everybody together. That's a up, that's a stay, that's a stay-ish, that's a back. That's a up, that's a stay, that's a stay-ish, that's a up. Okay, stop. Okay, good, very good. Let's hear it for the guys. Good job, fellas. Pretty sweet. Now, do you think that might be worth our players knowing? Because I ask players this age, Harry, I'm asking you to put you on the spot. In the real world, what do you want him saying often? What would be good for you if he was saying what all the time? Back, right? That you get him back. If you push him back or make him go back a lot, what might happen to his incoming ball? Would it be deep, short? What do you think? Yeah, is that a good thing? On paper, that's a good thing, right? Now, if you miss every approach, maybe not. So that's just a game, okay? Now, you do it, you can do it for a couple. The way I just showed you there was level 2 of tennis IQ. You were doing it for your side. Now, every one of these drills, I recommend you do it the other way. This is the first inklings of many of your players, or many players watching, start to think about the outside. So now you're going to do that same game. You're going to spar. But now you're not calling you. You're calling what he's doing. And you're going to call what he's doing. So you're really calling the effect of your shot. Okay? So, Harry, let me hear you. Remember, you call only what he does. Ready? Say it out louder, Timmy. Looking sweet, guys. Keep the ball going. Okay, stop. Okay, coaches, who thinks that when they did that version, they were a little less accurate than when they were doing their own version? Raise your hand. Okay, that's most of you. Okay, that's typical. All right, shows, I'm pretty darn sure, these kids are pretty talented, obviously, that they haven't thought this way before. No one's told them, look, let's just call out what's happening in your effect of your shot on your opponent. Most players, this is super important, write this down if you're a writer down there. Everybody that I teach, a lot of players, are racing to the wrong finish line. Their way of getting better is they think, I got to hit a really hard shot, I need better strokes. Dude, just give me better strokes. If I have better strokes, that'll take me to the promised land. It's just strokes. I only lost to this guy because he has better strokes. In our sport, the guy with the best strokes always win? Heck no, it's like one of the weirdest sports ever because you could have, many cases, sometimes close to 50% of the time, the guy with the uglier strokes wins because it's all this other stuff. So this is like a really first crack at getting people to think a little bigger. Not just about, because most of your players, especially juniors, but some adults, they're addicted, they're winning the race to the wrong finish line, they're going to get there someday, and they never will, but they think, maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year, I'm going to have that perfect forehand technique that I've been craving and taking lessons for 22 years from Billy, my great pro, and that's going to be it. It's just around the corner when I arrive to that great shit. And they never get there, okay? Or they'll hit it and they go, gosh, I was rocking my forehand, but I lost. I don't know why I lost. Okay, so that's just one, okay? That's one of 4 that I like to do. It's called up backstage. Now, the next one is not unique to me. I think I heard back in 1901, right after tennis was invented, color coding, okay? It's about decisions. Make sure you're really making the right decision on what you're trying. So, guys, you're going to hit back and forth, and if you hit a ball that's just a rally ball, which, by the way, makes 70% of the balls, you're going to say yellow, just a regular yellow, okay? If you're in trouble, if you're running for your life, or if the ball's so deep and hard that you have to adjust your stroke and make it shorter, what do you say? Red. But if you have a chance to step up and maybe be a little more offensive, okay, that's going to be green. If you like numbers, I would say this. A green is about, a rally ball I like to think is about a 7. A red might be a 3, 4, or 5, power-wise, and a green might be a 8 or a 9. Not really a 10. Some people hear green, they go, oh, he said green, dude. That means I get to rip. Okay, there's still green and there's green. Stinger green is what you live by. Okay, so guys, let's try color coding. Call your own size, call what you're doing. So coaches, they're not calling what they're receiving, they're calling what they're sending. So, for example, if Timothy over there wails on the shot, my side over here, oh, red. You don't call his green, you call your red. That's what you have to send back. Nice. This game, as old school as it is still one of my favorite to teach players what a quality point is. Like, what are you really, do you play tennis, man, or are you just a ball striker? There's a whole bunch of ball strikers in our world, and they just can't connect the bridge to winning. So this one's really good because a lot of club players, they just simply try the wrong thing. Okay, time. So after this would happen, just pause. I would look at Harry. What do you think Harry thinks about his last shot? What do you think about that shot, Harry? I hate it, right? What do I think about that shot? He's looking at what? The end result. I'm looking at the decision. The end result will take care of itself. Was that decision right? He called green, by the way, and his feet had moved inside the baseline. His feet were inside zone 4. So to me, what should he do? That should be a green. All right, so I want to make sure, and you need to make sure, hey, listen, that's okay. I can live with that mistake, dude. You were in here, you had him wounded, I don't mind you going. Now, if he would have hit that same shot 3,000 miles an hour, I'd say, wait, that was a green, but you used the wrong green, man. You used nuclear. You brought a bazooka to kill this bunny. Okay, it's not even a fair fight. Okay, so go ahead, guys. Let's keep playing. And this game right here is very, very helpful. But I think a lot of people, they don't appreciate it, frankly. Keep hitting, guys. Keep going. The number one gift you can give your tennis player is the ability to consistently make the right decision. Nice. It's definitely red. Nice. Nice. Okay, good. So watch. We're not even far enough. We're getting ahead of ourselves. They're playing pretty good. But do you notice how that point unfolded? Harry had control of that point a few shots ago, right? Hitting deep balls, pushing them back, pushing them back, pushing them back. Finally gets a short ball. When you get in here, now you can maybe play through the sidelines instead of the baseline. This is my favorite way to play. If I had a wish, this is what I plan would be for all my players. Try to get your opponent to back up by using higher, loopier shots. Not moon balls, just heavier, deep balls, okay? This will help you figure that out. And when you get the short ball, then you're going to be able to add some front court skills and play through the sideline. And isn't that what the pros try to do? If you follow Craig O'Shaughnessy, he's a good buddy of mine. He's a very, very bright guy. He's the lead strategy analyst. He's got all, for the ATP Tour, he's got all the stats, and he says the number one way to cause an error is depth. He calls it his diamond. There's 8 ways you can do it, and depth is important. So guys, if we just did that drill, what's the next level up? Level 3 of tennis IQ. Now, they'll do it just for a minute now, but you're going to be calling what you think the other guy's hitting. So it's a reverse, okay? So I'll help you. I'll pretend I'm with Harry. Go ahead. I'll say feed. Okay, that's going to be a yellow. He just hit a yellow back. This is going to be a green. That's going to be a yellow. It's going to be a yellow. It's going to be a yellow. It's going to be a yellow. Be a yellow. Okay, good. Now, time. Who likes that? Okay. He wasn't quite in the green, but he was on the border. Okay, he wasn't. I say green. I'm used to indoor courts. He wasn't quite in zone 4, but he was a little bit short, and it was up here, which happens to be his favorite shot. So he pulled the trigger. So for that shot on this day with that player, was it a good decision? I'd say yes. Okay. If he was hitting a backhand, he had a 1E, and he tried that, I'd say, well, same scenario, not good. But guys, keep going. Just a couple more minutes. So this is just 2. Okay, good. Call it. And coaches, there's a reason I have them verbally say it out loud. Okay, let's do a timeout. If this was a group lesson, which I'm often running, and I'm having to say it out loud, first of all, it sinks in, okay, if you verbally say it. It's kind of like writing things down. The other thing is, I do this with 4 or 6 courts at my club, with 6 courts in a row, and I have 24 players doing this. What's the overwhelming subliminal word they're always hearing in this drill? What color is always yellow, yellow? It doesn't take much effort for me to bring them in afterwards and say, okay, guys, what are most shots in tennis? Yellow. Yeah, I just heard that like almost every single time it was yellow. So if you want to be good at tennis, do you want to chase the green, or do you think you should master the yellow? Because the yellow is pretty darn important, and I think a lot of people are trying to master that green. That's expensive. The number one mistake rec players make is to take a yellow ball and to try a what? Green. That's the number one. All right, so a true story. There was a guy, I won't give you full name because it's a little embarrassing for him. At my old 2 clubs ago, his name was Steve. That's why you get to know. And Steve's mom wanted me to work with him privately, but I had a huge list and I couldn't do it. It took like a 1.5 years for me to get him in my schedule. But I knew of him. He was in our program, and he was a notorious overhitter. Okay, very poor consistency, always pulled the trigger. He basically played tennis with green glasses. Okay, so when I finally got him in, I knew exactly what I do. I say, Steve, we're going to do this game called color coding. I want to really make sure you understand. I think you're not getting it. So let's spar. And I explained that pretty well, and I told him, really want to chase decisions. So I went to the court, and I sparred with him for 20 minutes. And during that 20 minutes, I personally called out green like on 17 occasions. And he called out green like over 100 times. So he would be 2-3 feet past the baseline, green, bam. Who on earth told you that's a green? His rally ball, he just thought, he didn't believe in the rally ball. He just thought, well, good players don't have a rally ball. They just hit green. Well, your green is their rally ball. That's how good they are. Okay, so that's the tricky part. So now let's go to the next one. These next 2 are really the most powerful in depth coding. Okay, so depth coding, now guys, you're going to hit back and forth. Wherever the ball lands on your side of the court, right when it lands, you're going to get out loud the area that it landed in, the depth code, okay? So go ahead and try it. See if you can keep up. Let me hear you. Yes. Can't hear you, Timothy. Louder, bro. There you go. Make them say it out loud, coaches. This is how you get it in their head. Okay, not bad. Keep going. Keep the ball going. Yep. Okay, good. Coaches, let's all do it together. And I'm going to have these guys, this is a trick. These next two is how I trick people into getting a big aha moment. And I'm just going to let these guys go through it. Let's all do it, though, so we get the habit of it. All coaches chime in. That's a 3. That's a 3. That's a 4, it looked like. That's about a 4. That's a 5. That's a 1.5. Okay, keep going. 3. It's a 4-ish, maybe. 3. 3. 2. Okay, no problem. Let's go 2 more rallies, guys. 2, 3. So that was 4, yeah. Okay, 3. Nice. That's a 4. It's a 4. Sweet, guys. Just out. 2. 3-ish. 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 Okay, stop. Okay, not bad. Let's hear it for the guys. Good ripping, guys. So, I figured something out, and I'd like to tell you I was smart enough to, but I stumbled upon it, okay? I stumbled upon what I think a lot of my players are struggling at. When I do that drill with the players, and I just have them call it out, so they, first of all, they all think, when you ask this question before, okay, you guys are going to do the drill, you got it? Yeah. What do you think you're going to hit? Oh, 3s and 4s. And it's not 3s and 4s. It's 2s and 3s are the most common. But the most common, what do you think? The most common place for the ball to land is 3, okay? They were a little bit up and below, but if you do this, I've done this speech 20 times, and overwhelmingly, it's obvious that it's 3. Today it was a little less obvious, but I still think 3 was the most common, all right? So I don't tell the players that. I just let them hit it, and they experience it. Then I ask them, they go, yeah, probably 3 was the most, okay? I go, okay, put that in the bank. By the way, the next version of this, let's just do it for a second, is you're going to call where your shot lands over there. So again, this is level 3 IQ. You're thinking about the other side of the court. These are little exercises, micro commitments, getting them to think about the other side. For the first time with many of my players, these types of little drills, it's the first time they ever thought about the other side. It's not about the other side, dude. It's about me and my stroke. It's about my side, okay? Okay, good. One more ball. Guys are hitting good. Just try and get their autographs now before they go pro, and then you can sell it on eBay. Okay, good. So now you think they're getting a little bit of awareness of where the ball is? A lot of times you ask your players, where do you think most of your balls go? I don't know, but I think they're 3 and 4. Then you have them do the exercise. Ooh, okay, not so much 4. It's really hard to get 4. Here's a little, I'm taking the detour here, but I want you to, I'm going to show you this drill. It's really good for a group or even for 2. Imagine there's 4 guys out here. 2 of them hitting on this half, 2 of them hitting, I call it depth race. So guys, you're going to go back and forth. This time, you're going to count to 6, okay, 6. But you only count when the ball's in zone 4. And you don't call 4, you say 1, 2. All right, so let's see how long it takes you guys to get 6 balls off a rally. If the ball goes out of play, just pick it up, but the feed doesn't count. Okay, so let's count together. Go ahead. We're only counting deep ball. Feed don't count. Okay, that's 0 so far. That's 1. That's still 1. That's still 1. That's 2, I believe. That's 3. That's still 3 deep ones. That's 4 deep ones. I'll give it to him. Still 3. That's 5 deep ones. One more. A little short. And there it is. So if they were doing this on a half a court and their buddies were on the other half a court, that's a heck of a consistency game, okay? And it makes them aware. Some kids will do this and they can't, it takes an hour to get 6. It's really, but man, it's a real eye-opener. Now they can walk away and say, wow, I've never tried that. I need to work on that. Just by having these zones and naming them. Okay, so depth code, we kind of decided that most balls land in zone 3 in reality. Now we're going to talk about the strike zone. So Harry, come over here, buddy. Harry's going to be my male model. You're going to go like this and do the arm thing. So really there's 4 strike zones. I like to identify 4. Some coaches like 3. They're the same. 4 on the forehand side, 4 on the backhand. If you're above the shoulder, that's strike zone 4. Torso, strike zone 3. Thigh, 2. And below the knee, strike zone 1. Okay? And up above the shoulder on the backhand, that's strike zone 4. This is strike zone 3, 2, and 1. So right away, you need to know, you have to do an audit, okay? And I actually had them think about this. I want you to grade each of your strike zones, okay? What do you grade yourself? Here, this is your forehand side. Give yourself a grade. How good is your strike zone 4 forehand right up here? A minus. Okay, strike zone 3. A plus. He loves that. Common, right? No surprises so far. How about there? B. And then how about strike zone 1 on your forehand? Get it. C. Is that a surprise to anybody? No? Okay, let's go to the backhand side. Let's put your racket over here. Show me strike zone 1. How are you there? B, because you have slice, right? So you can do it. How about strike zone 2? Okay, how about strike zone 3? Okay, and how about strike zone 4? C. Guys, you know, he's pretty fair, okay? Let's do Federer. I'm Federer minus the talent, okay? Now, keep it all relative because everything's an A, really. But is this good for him up here? No issues, I think. No issues. No issues. Very little issues. Uh-oh. Over here, he can do all this, no issues. Loves it. Don't hit it here. Okay. Uh-oh. Now, if I hit it to Federer here, he's still going to kick my face. But if Rafa hits it up there, is it not Rafa's entire life plan when they play Federer? Do you not know before the match starts what he's going to try to do? So is Rafa not really operating at level 3 tennis IQ? It's not about him. He looks at the opponent, audit, weak spot, and then he has the ability to make the guy hit it. So for years, Rafa would play high, loopy top forehands to Fed's backhand. Fed would kind of back up. He's Fed, so he doesn't whiff it. He gets it back, but it's a little bit short, not enough gas, and then Rafa moves inside the zone 4, and he pummels it, and Fed's quick, and that's how the match unfolds. Until January 2017, where something happened, and the plan didn't work, right? Fed decided, screw it, I'm going forward. He's doing up balls all over the place. Not only am I going to do an up ball, I'm never going to do a back ball. I'm not going back. I'm going to take it early, and I'm going to rip it. That was the difference. What's up with Fed anyway? He's winning everything. I love it. Okay, so that's just a little side note. Now we're going to go to the strike zone coding. This is the 4th of these awareness drills I do. Helps people. So far, I would unfold these things over time, right? Over a private lesson, I might do them all in one private lesson. I might focus on different ones for different kids. But now we're going to do the last one you haven't seen, which is strike zone awareness, which I think is monumentally important, but never happens. If you ask your child or a junior player or a rec player, adult, hey, and your opponent, did they like the ball high or low? Chances are they're going to go, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, they're not paying attention. They don't think that's even worth knowing. So guys, you're going to call your own strike zone what you hit. So go ahead and try it. It's a little bit more difficult, coaches, for players to do this. That's strike zone 4. Okay, that was... Coaches, let's all chime in. What's this one here? That's a 1, because he took it on the rise. Okay, keep going. That's strike zone 3. That's a 3, I thought. That's a 3. That's a 4 for sure. Okay, here we go. That's a 1-ish, 2 maybe. That's a 3 right in the torso. That's a 3. That's a 3. That's a 3. That's a 2 or 3. That's a 3. That's a 3. Okay, that's a 4-ish. That's a 4-ish. Okay, time. Let's hold the balls, guys. Okay, good. Now, if we let this go for another few minutes, and then I ask the players, what was the most common? You hit everything, but what was the most common strike zone, do you think? 3. You agree? 3. You guys agree? Okay. Audience agree? Most of the balls are hit in 3. So, okay, here's my hypothesis. This is why you're watching. This is the write down. So I'm working with a player a couple years ago, and I'm doing this drill. And the weird thing, I had him do the depth, I had him do the strike zone coding. And the day before, one of my students come to me, and he said, Coach, it was a girl, he had a state tournament coming up like in 2 days. I don't know if it was for real, but she curated a slump. I got state, and I'm not hitting well. I need help. Oh, my gosh. I'm like, what do you mean you're not hitting well? Oh, my groundies, I can't hit a ground stroke in. I'm like, okay, probably in your head, but let me go see. So I didn't have a lot of time. So what I decided to do, okay, I only could hit a half hour, then I was traveling. I said, look, I'm going to take you on the ball machine, and I'm going to set the ball machine on you, and I'm going to be right with you, and I want to see you smack a few groundies, and I'm going to see if there's any issues. Because I think maybe you just need some timing. You're going to get, and I'm already putting the seed in your head that, hey, I'm going to fix this in 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm not dumb, okay? My goal that half hour on the ball machine was to have her feel good. I wanted a half hour later, I wanted her to feel really good about her stroke. Even if I wanted her to think, yeah, okay, I feel it. Okay, so what do you think I did with that ball machine? Do you think I shot it scraping off zone 4? No. Guess where I made it land? I made it land in zone 3. And remember, my goal was to make her feel good. And guess where I had it cross? Zone 4? Nope. 1? Nope. I had it cross right through here, right through her torso. And guess what happened in 10 minutes on the ball machine? She was rocking it. And she was like, you fixed me. And I'm like, I didn't fix crap. But I think, yeah, I did fix it. See, you're not going to have any problems. So here it dawned on me. The next day I do this drill with different kids. And I had this epiphany, wait a minute. The way most people play, where the ball lands in 3 and crosses 3, which we just discovered it, right? Do this exercise. You'll see almost always most players, ball bounces in 3 and the strike zone 3. That's the very way your opponent would want you to play. Oops. This is the problem. Okay? If the very way you likely play is how people would say, this is what I need to feel good, my follow-up question to my group is, how many in my group of players, do you think this a lot? Here's the phrase. Do you think everybody plays great against you? And I ask my kids that, and guess how many hands go up? Everybody thinks everybody plays great. Yeah, man, everybody plays against me. What the heck? You know, I play, and every time they play me, they tree. Total tree. Okay? And they don't get that maybe they're the problem. Because why? Because I don't think this is the coach's fault necessarily. They are chasing the wrong rabbit. They're going to the wrong finish line. They're going to get there someday and be bummed out. What they should be doing is working points and understanding tennis IQ and realizing, hey, you don't necessarily want to feel good and hit with a hard hitter. Ever hear this phrase? Oh, I want to play better with hard hitters. Everybody says that. Because hard hitters are giving you exactly like the ball. So think of it this way. I've had some luck explaining it this way. Come here, Harry. You're going to be my little guinea pig. We all are wired. It's different, right? So think of every player, including myself in here, we're human ball machines. We're ball machines, okay? We come out of the factory, and we have factory settings. They're different, okay? Agassi's factory settings, what did he have for his groundies? His power was cranked way the heck up, okay? His topspin was pretty high. Did he have much slice? No. That's the way Agassi preferred. That's how he came out of the factory, okay? Here comes Rafa. He comes out of this factory in Spain. What is his factory settings? That spin dial is turned up on him. That's the way he likes to play. It's not not right, just the way his factory settings. So everybody should have some factory settings, and as coaches, we need to understand that and appreciate that. I had a certain way to play. I had zero patience when I played. I served and volleyed back in the day. No one does that very much. I was just like Macrono minus the talent, okay? But I wanted short points, and if it was 6 balls, I was like, man, this is war. Plus, I was tired, okay? So I wanted to end it quickly. Plus, I played way better in the front court than I did at the back court. My backhand was atrocious. My forehand was good. My serve was decent. So I wanted to go in. It was fun for me to go in, okay? I took plenty of passing shots. But here's the deal. Even though Harry comes out of the factory and I got his ball machine panel back here. Look over there. And I got him flipped up, and I got all these knobs. That's what he's born with. But as coaches, we have to be able to say, look, dude, here's your factory settings, but you also need to be able to, just like a ball machine, against that opponent on this day, this button has to go lower power, higher loop, and way more spin, and get him to zone 6. Because if you do that, you're going to win. And if you don't, you're not. You're going to be that ball machine, and you're going to inadvertently make that guy play friggin' awesome, and that's no good. Is that good if you make him play awesome? Say boo. Boo. Yeah, okay? So that is the epiphany I've had. So now, when I explain it that way, people go, yeah, I do kind of like it. If you think of the last 3 private lessons you have, it's very likely that they're all different on that factory settings, okay? Marty, my wife here, she has certain factory settings. She liked to hit hard. She was pretty quick, so she was geared one way. I'm geared another way. Our daughter, Carly, came out, and her forehand was set at slice. She never really owned a topspin forehand. She struggled with it. But she could slice it all day long, and it was sabotage. She could do it good enough to ruin other people. Okay, so even though she did it sometimes out of necessity because she couldn't rip, it had a weird effect of almost being a weapon because so many people don't like it. She could hit slice, and not even on purpose. It would make other people hit down in strike zone 1, and guess how many girls she played preferred it in 1? Not that many. They would have preferred it in 3, and Carly didn't give it to her. So that's just a different way to look at it. So now the human ball machine idea, that's super important. You can kind of use that, I think, to help kids get to the next level and adults. So now we're going to talk a little bit about running plays. This is a true story of, I won't say the kid because it's a little embarrassing to him. I'm coaching at my academy up in Michigan at Hope College. And one of our better players, he's about to serve. Okay, he's literally in his rituals. And right in the middle of it, I kind of run out there and go, wait. And here's the conversation. This is how it went. I said, hey, Billy, not his name. Hey, Billy, what? What are you going to do? Billy's a 16-year-old boy, so Billy looks at me and goes, what? I go, what are you going to do right now? I'm going to serve. I was about to serve. You got in my way. I'm going to serve. Okay, where are you going to serve? I don't know. In the box. Okay. Then what are you going to do after that? I got to see where he hits it, and then I'll know what to do. In other words, he's winging it. Okay. There's no pre-planning. He's not thinking a little bit ahead. Okay. He's playing football kind of like you do on Thanksgiving, and you get in the huddle on Thanksgiving, and you know that huddle on Thanksgiving, the family huddle. Okay, here's the play. Ready? Here's the play. Go out. And everybody just runs all over. That's the play. That's how they play tennis, okay? Now think of a football team, a real football team. So this football analogy is actually weird. I had a friend that played in the NFL. He was number 2 singles on my team, my high school team. He played 13 years in the NFL. Ray Bentley, he played for the Bills and played in Super Bowls and stuff, and he was legit. He would tell me he'd always play in the off season because he was a middle linebacker, and guess what middle linebackers do? He would tell me every middle linebacker I know plays tennis, which I couldn't get through my head because a couple of split steps, it's just like a return of serve or cutting at the net, which I thought was interesting. But here's my deal with the football. When you have a huddle in football, they call a play. And what play? There's not a guy in the sidelines with a hat thinking, okay, next play, and they pull out like a random play. It's situational, right? They call a certain play. Right? Stick with me on tennis here. A football team will, everybody, just like a football team or like a tennis player, football teams are known for things. Federer's known for all quarter likes to come in. Rafa's known for certain things. You know, Agassi was known for certain things. A couple years ago, Denver Bronco won the Super Bowl. What were they known for that year? Because they had Peyton Manning? They threw a lot. They threw pretty well, okay? So that's fine. That team's identity was they threw a lot. Other teams' identity is they run it down your throat, okay? Everybody would agree that each team should have their own identity based on their personnel. Just like each player, he might be steady, he might be retriever, whatever. But when they go in the huddle and it's 3rd and 20 and the situation calls for a pass, what will they do? They'll probably pass. What if they're a running team? Do they say, well, we're a running team, so we're not going to consider the situation? No, they'll probably pass. If a running team gets 4th at 1 inch, do they pass? Or go, hey, wait, we have to pass. We're known for passing. No. So they are flexible enough in football to say, look, we are good at one thing, but we know we'll be able to do this other thing. So here's the deal. If you're a tennis player, here's what should happen. You go into your one-man huddle. It's just you. The point's over, you get in a huddle. It's lonely. You're the only dude in the huddle. But you call your play. What play do I call? What's a play? I have a singles playbook I'll give you. The first thing you should do is decide how long the point should be. You want a short point, you want a long point. Second thing you should do is decide what your serve you're going to do. And the third piece you should do is decide, you know, what tactics, what missions you're going to do. So that brings me, this is kind of how I think of tennis. I've had good luck with tennis players kind of understanding that part. You can't just wing it, you have to have a play. But then they'll go, well, I don't even know what a play is. What's a tennis play? And that's what I'm going to teach you now. So missions, if you're following along on the outline, missions are tasks. They're another word for tactics, okay? But I spend a lot of with our players working on missions. I call them missions versus tactics because it's kind of gamification. You're going to try to do these missions. So here's the mission, a possible mission. If you're following along, number one, you can move your opponent into zone 6. That could be a mission. On this point, who does that a lot? What pro does that a lot? Rafa does that, right? He runs that play all day long. He's constantly moving people back because he does it well. Here's another mission. Anything that lands in zone 2, anything that lands here, you just hit it and go like a maniac. Who's been doing that mission? It's kind of a little fetish. It's coming in a lot more, okay? Here's another mission. Grind. Make every paw go 6 rallies at least. Certain players will do that. So that's how I like to play anyway. This is what I do. Here's the opposite. End every rally within 4. Here's another possible mission. Isolate your backhand. So in other words, make him hit 3 backhands in a row. Okay, here's another one. Sneak attack. If you ever do back him up into zone 6, you're going to sneak attack and take it out of the air. So now the way I like to do it, I give them these, execute 3 slices in a row. Because you know, if you figured out, man, that guy's grip is so far over, he really struggles on low ball, maybe you should work 3 slices in a row. Every time you hit 3 in a row, you accomplish it. The whole idea of missions is you can't screw them up. You just accomplish them or you don't. And if you accomplish it, you didn't lose the point. You're tracking the missions accomplished, not the points won. So let me see this live. So I'm going to have you back up, and I'm only going to work with Harry right now. So you don't really know what's going down, okay? Harry, this is going to be a secret. I'm not going to tell the viewers or also the coaches. Here's what I want you to do. Okay, so we're going to watch. I give Harry an assignment, okay? I don't really care who wins these points. Go ahead and feet underhand and let it fly. And let's see if you guys are isolating on Harry on my side here. If it's evident what his mission is. Remember, how often you get to try your mission will depend on what you're receiving. You may not get a lot of opportunities to try it. Okay, go again, guys. Good rally, by the way. Ooh, the head fake and the finesse. Everybody go like this. Ooh, that was sweet. Okay, go one more. Or at least one more rally. Let's see. You're looking for Harry in the blue hat. What's he up to? Okay, good. Last ball. Okay, good. Now, that was a harder one. I can tell you it wasn't super obvious, and it's not Harry's fault. But who wants to guess? Who do you think? What do you think I assigned him to do? Bingo. Anytime Harry got a ball that landed in zone 2, which is up in here or shorter, he was instructed to hit a drop shot. Okay? The problem was, how many times did he get that? Not very often, because you did a heck of a job of keeping him deep. Okay? So that was a tough assignment. Okay, we're going to do one more. This time I'm going to work with you, Timothy. Come over here, buddy. Okay, he knows his assignment. Let's see. I love these missions because students will try these if they're missions. And hopefully, go ahead guys, you can hit. Hopefully they'll try them and they'll start, hey, I can maybe try to deploy that one. We're not saying that these things are usable for these players yet. Typically they're not. When you assign a mission, it's a wish. I wish my player had this, so I'm going to work, I'm going to give them a mission, and this is how we're going to keep track. And then later you debut it in competition. Okay, so Harry, I think his drop shot's ready to debut in competition now, right? If he gets it, it's pretty usable. All right, so we're watching Timothy over there. Good, keep going. It takes a while to unfold. Keep hitting, guys. Looking good. Again, missions are only possible when you receive the right shot. Good point. I can tell you right now that he hasn't screwed up. He just hasn't had a chance. Keep going. I'm not ready to reveal his mission yet. Okay, good. There he did it. I'll just tell you what it was because it's really hard because Harry's hitting deep. I told him, anytime Harry hits the ball in zone 2, you're going to be a maniac and just bum rush it. You're going to hit it and go. Just show up at the net. Statistically speaking, and this is you're going to not believe this, but I want you to look it up on Craig O'Shaughnessy's site. At the U.S. Open 2015, from the round of 16 forward, when people came to the net, 50% of the time, they didn't have to hit with a single volley. That seemed pretty high. 50% of the time. We got to stop worrying about the net, okay? Too many of my players, they think, well, I'm not good at the net. Just showing up at the nets, you win at least, was always my number until Craig actually put out a course on it. And it was 50% at that level, okay? So what people do is they come to the net, they get burned, and it's even though it's only one on the scoreboard, now they're I got humiliated up here. Oh, you guys see that? Everybody saw that. It's just one on the scoreboard. But they're really easy to forget when they came in, the guy nets it, they came in, the guy hits it wide. and then they get burned, what do they remember? I won 2 out of 3, but man, that was humiliations galore on that third one. You see that? I went up and these people all think I'm bad. So that's a problem, I think, with kids. So now we're going to do, I'm going to give them each a mission, guys. They're going to do combating missions. All right, so come here, buddy. I'm going to tell you what to do. Okay, so they neither know what the other guy's trying to do. So now they're kind of competing, okay? Let's see if it's obvious to us watchers. Okay, ready, go. So you think this would work in private lessons? You got a couple kids who are working strategy, you're giving them these assignments, wouldn't it be fun? This is how you acquire tactics. Here's what I tell people. The number one job of the tennis player is to acquire more and more usable tactics. Usable tactics, that's the key word. If you can't do it in a match, I don't want to know about it. What can you deploy? Well, guess what? As players play, are they likely on their own to try to add more tactics? The ones they can't do, here's 6 things I can do. I can hit topspin, I can loop, I can hit a drive. That's it. All these this big pile over here that I wish I could do, I wish I could slice, I wish I could hit a drop shot, I wish I could hit a kick serve, I wish I could do, I wish. Those are, stay on the wish pile forever if you don't get after it. You don't just wake up one Thursday afternoon or morning and say, well, today I think I feel like I got a new drop shot in me somehow. You got to get after it and work it. So I tell them it's a process. The first mode that they're in, if they don't already have the tactic, is learning mode. They're just testing it out. A lot of coaching. Hey, Harry, I'm having you work on slice. You got to work on this, and you help. And then the second mode is you train. This is a little bit what we're doing here. You're training. It's live ball hitting, but I don't care about the scorecard. Okay, I don't care about the scorecard. And then if they stay in that mode for a while, that shot will mature to where you can deploy it in a match. If you try to deploy it in the match and the very first time you try it, it falls apart, boom, back up one level. Let's go back to sparring. Okay, good. Guys, let's come in. I'm going to have you say it. So, coaches, guess. What do you think he was trying to do? Any guesses in the audience? No guesses? Okay, you're going to tell.
Hit 3 backhands in a row to his backhand.
Okay, he was trying to isolate 3 pockets, 3 in a row to his backhand, then open it up. 3 in a row to the backhand. You would do that, obviously, not if the guy's backhand is a strength, but if it's a weakness, which is common. Okay, who thinks you knew what he was trying to do? Tell him what you were assigned.
Execute 3 slices in a row.
So just hit 3 slices in a row. Why? Now here's the thing. If I were coaching these 2 guys in my lesson, in my private or semi-private, I'd be like asking a lot of questions. So why would you do that? Why would we want that ever? And then boom, strike zones. We talk about a lot of people don't like it down low. Well, that's gonna. Now, Harry, do you think I want you to become a slicer and moonballer for your rest of it? I just want it in his arsenal, so that if he ever needs it, boom, he can pull it out and it's usable. Same thing over here. Would you ever want to isolate someone's weaker backhand? Yeah, duh. That's a common thing. So let's flip the page, coaches. This next little segment I really like a lot. I'm going to have the players play out points. So guys, you're going to serve, so warm up your serve a little bit as I talk here. This is quality points. How do I get a tennis player, maybe not super experienced, but they got some skills, how do I get them to understand what a quality point is? What the heck is the definition even of a quality tennis point? I can tell you what it's not. It's not about how hard you hit it. It's about the decisions you make. A really good point, tennis point, is one in which you made the right decisions. You tried green when you should have. It was good tactically, smart-wise. If you miss a ball into the net, it still could have been a good point tactically, okay, and quality. This is what I care about. So here's how this is going to go. This is going to be a discussion. If you do this with your players and players watching, if you do it, hugely helpful. I really recommend you try it. So what's going to happen is these players are going to play a point, and after the point is over, I'm going to look to Harry, and Harry's going to grade himself. He's going to give himself a grade of 0, 1, or 2. 0, 1, or 2. Okay? Based on how well he played the point, the quality of the point. And then right when that's done, Timothy, I'm going to look to you and say, okay, Timothy, how did you play that point? You give me a number for you. This will open up some crazy discussions of what you think is a quality point and what your players think is a quality point. It's very much worth doing. So, you guys ready? Let's just go, you serve 4, Harry, and then Tim, we just go 4 and 4 back and forth. Again, we're playing a point to completion. We're not scoring like who actually wins the point. I don't care about that. We're using a different scoreboard. So again, remember, a 0 is I played a poor point. 1 is, yeah, decent point, nothing great, nothing bad. 2 is, man, I really played a good point there. And now we're going to say, well, what's a good point? And this is the exercise I use. So serve to the deuce. Get ready, guys. Harry's going to serve. And get ready to give yourself a grade. Say it out loud when I ask. Ready? Play. Harry, I love it. Safety first, baby. Four in a row. 5. Okay, good. Now, interesting. Okay, about a 5-ball rally. What would you give yourself, 0, 1, or 2? 2. Okay, 2. Who thinks, no one says 0, right? Who thinks that's a 1? Who thinks that's a 2? I think it's a 2. Kept the ball in play. When he had the green shot, he pulled it, and he pulled it off. Now, what would you give yourself? Okay, a 1. Okay, who thinks he's a 1? Okay. Anybody would say, well, that was a 0? I don't think so. Got a few balls back. Would anybody say that was a 2? A couple people say 2. All right. Here's what you have to look out for. I've already warned these guys. When it comes to rec players, and juniors in particular, they tend to only rate the last shot. So maybe they hit, and this happened earlier when I worked with these guys. I was here no more than 15 minutes just telling them what we're going to do. And I had them play like 2 points like this. And immediately, there was a 6-ball rally. I can't remember which one of these hit it out. And I said, what do you give yourself? 0. I played a bad point. I go, that was actually a pretty sweet point. You got 4 balls in a row. I'll take it. Okay, so this opens the door to discussion. And this is where you can come in with your teaching philosophy. And then you can preach what you like to preach. I like to grind. I like to be super aggressive. All right, guys, that was pretty accurate. Let's go again. Okay, second serve. Okay, what do you think, Harry? Okay, 1. He wanted to say 0, but he's already been trained by me. Okay. Everybody think, what do you guys think? 1? Yeah. Hit 4 or 5 balls, made an unforced error. Okay. An unforced error doesn't wipe out all the other shots. If you hit 30 balls in a row and you have an unforced error, that could be a 2. The fact that you measure the whole point, not the last shot. What do you think, buddy? What do you give yourself? Okay, he gives himself a 2. Who thinks 2? Anybody think 1? So that's the mix between 2 and 1. All right, good. So when you talk, I can guarantee if you do this with your players, what's going to happen for sure is they're going to start measuring, their numbers are off. They're going to hit a drop shot from behind the baseline in the second shot and go, that's a 3, or that's a 2, sorry. I go, no, it was actually quite dumb, but I hit a point. Yes, but it was still kind of dumb. It's like hitting a drop shot from the back fence. It might work, but probably not a good idea. Okay? Go again, guys. Let's keep going on this game. Now, Harry's got a nice little kick serve, right? Okay, so Harry, what do you give yourself? 2? Ooh, he likes it. Who thinks a 1? Who thinks a 2? Anybody a 0? No, can't be a 0. What do you think, buddy? What did you give yourself? So he gave you a strike zone 4 backhand, right? Oh, nasty. And you missed it. So what do you think? 0? Who thinks 0? Who thinks 1? Yeah, I'd probably give you closer to a 0. A 0.4. Okay? All right, good. So you see where this might be helpful? If you could be there imparting wisdom, no, this is not a 2, this is Y. That's actually a 2, and this is Y. The Y is huge. Now, they can play these points, and if I assign missions, are they going to try the missions? If they're going to try the missions without the pressure of the scoreboard. So let's go again. Now, actually, let's take it up a notch. Remember, back to our tennis IQ model, level 2 of tennis IQ is your side of the court, making sure you do everything smart on your side of the court. But level 3 is when you have awareness of the other side of the court. I always use Rafa as my favorite example. So guys, you're going to play the same game, but now instead of giving yourself a score, you're going to score your opponent. So you're going to have to pay attention to that dude as he plays his whole point. Okay? And then you're going to score him. Same scoring system, 0, 1, or 2. You ready? All right, let's go. Okay, what do you grade him? You did a heck of a... What do you grade him? A 1? I'm going to give him a 0. All right. Okay, so that's all right. Didn't play a good point. He double faulted. All right, keep going. That was an easy to score. I give you a 1 at the moment. All you had to do is stand there. Nice. Okay, good. What are you doing, Harry? 0.8, you're thinking? 0.75, maybe? What do you think about Harry? What would you give Harry there? Okay, a 1 or a 2? I tend to give 2s when the points are longer. So many points never reach maturity. 5 hits. You know, the stats show, Craig O'Shaughnessy again, that 70% of the rallies, this is for the pros, who you think can rally, are under 4 balls. 70%. The average length of a rally on the men's tour is 4.2, and the women is 3.9, so it's less than that. There's a double fault happens 300 more times, 300% more often than a rally of 20 or more balls. You hear that? That's pretty crazy. So you got to know these stats. Let's go again here. You're going to serve one more. You're going to judge the other guy. Ooh. Okay. What do you give him? 1, 1.5. What do you give him? 2? I'm sorry, 1? Okay. What do you guys give Harry? Start flashing. 1. What do you guys give him? 2. So this little exercise is super. Let me tell you the origin of this exercise. At my academy in the summer, we have 12 outdoor courts, and if it rains, we go to 6 indoor courts. So obviously, we have to get some of the kids off court. One of the things we do in the off court is I have a TV at the club. I have recordings of all these matches, and this happened maybe 2 years ago. It was a match with Rafa playing Federer at the French Open final. So that match had happened a while before that. So one of the points in particular in this match, we watch it, and what I like to do is we watch the match. I got pause and rewind on my remote, and I got 20 kids here, and we're watching, and I'm making point, and mid-rally, I'll stop it, and I'll catch Federer like this, and I'll say, where's this ball going to go? And no one, it's going to be short maybe, and then You see, oh yeah, I see, it's really helpful. But there was one rally in particular, I think it was 32 balls long, really long rally. And it ended, the last couple shots in photo like this. Rafa hits a loopy forehand really deep, Fed backs up, hits the backhand, leaves it shorter than average. Rafa moves up into the court, pummels a forehand winner inside, crosses the sideline, winner. Okay, that's how the point ends. So as soon as the point ends, I go pause, and I say to kids, thoughts. And of course, 90% of them don't say anything, but a couple go, well, Rafa hit a pretty sweet winner there. Okay, good, well, that's nice. And how about over here? Well, yeah, Rafa really killed that one. Okay, yeah, anybody else with thoughts? The whole point? Yeah, Rafa's got a good forehand. Okay, good. They were fixated on that shot. Okay. Then I said, okay, all my kids know how the red, green, yellow game. I go, so together we're going to rewind this point, and allowed all 22 of us. We're going to color code for both players out loud. You all ready? You all ready? Okay, let's go. Bink. And together we would go yellow, yellow, red, there's a yellow, there's a red, there's a yellow, there's another yellow, there's another yellow, there's another red, there's another yellow. So guess what happened in that rally? There was only one green the whole time. There was 20 yellows and there was a whole bunch of reds where Rafa was scraping, one of these way out the side, and he's way over there. Fed had a couple amazing saves. There was way more reds, like 7 reds maybe and 1 green. And what was the takeaway? The last shot. Okay? So really, that was a quality point. I would give players a 2 on this little system. But that kind of coaching and and I recommend you do that. It's easy to do if you have halfway decent remote. It's really eye-opening. Just sitting there and giving players a chance to talk and think, and what does that look like? Now, I'm going to go to a singles book. I do have something over here on this page. And if you're watching Mick, I'm going to give you these links so you can maybe put it on the streaming page so they can download it. So you guys can have this. But I have this page, but Artie, you have a little book, the one we folded. Did you hand those out or did we? Okay. I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to give you this in a little half-folded sheet of paper. Here comes Mick. This is like a super, super simple book. It's a one-page book. That's how simple it is. And, yeah, no staples or anything. So everybody grab one of these, and I'll show you. I'll tell you how I use this. So if you're watching, it's this. I'm going to make it so you can download this. So now, back at my club, I'm in Michigan. I'm getting some pretty good success. I'm doing these things. I'm evolving the games. I'm changing. I'm learning as a coach. And I'm starting to get some players that I can visually see when they play. Man, they're playing smarter. I think it wasn't overnight. I'm not going to lie to you and say, man, I taught this, and the next day they were all amazing. I started players, and I could tell intelligence difference in the post-match talk with me. So what do you think about that match? And it no longer we're like, well, I think I suck. No, give me something useful. What do you think? That guy, it was always... Now they're telling me, well, that guy really pushed me back a lot. Next time I need to hold my baseline. I think next time I need to do this. And I'm thinking, man, they're starting to think more like an adult. Wouldn't it all be great if we had our 30-year-old brains when we were 16? The strategy of a 30-year-old with the body of a 16-year-old, that would have been nice. When I was 16, I had the strategy of an 8-year-old, I think, and the body of a 6-year-old. So let me tell you why this page was printed. So I give it to my players, and I'm going to just tell you my opinion. I really think how people play a point, they don't even know how to play tennis, a lot of people. Out there just ball striking and trying to wing it, and they get some wins, they get some losses. Most of them will tell you, I wish I could win more. I don't know what my problem is. So I had to break it down to basic 101. So this is how I like to explain it. If you see on this sheet, on the left side of the page, it says rec level tennis. On the right side, it says pro level tennis. I did that for a purpose. I want the people that are working left to strive to go here. The way I present this, I print them out on a piece of paper, it costs me nothing. And I say to my players, listen, I don't really want you to worry about this pro level stuff. I'm not sure you're ready for that. That's what I say. Okay, immediately what do they want to do? They want to, no, seriously, let's go over here. the first two things. So let's follow along in this outline here. Test, I'm back. Having a playbook and running a play with purpose and not just winging it is super important. So to me, what helps, the way I like to do it, and as a coach you can tweak this, is you generally have 3 plays. This is just from the ATP Tour. And their stats are already broken down for us. So we know that rallies that go between 0 and 4 are called first strike. Rallies that go between 5 and 9 are called patterns, or they can be just steady points. I call them steady. And rallies that go 10 or more are actually, I call them grinder points, extended points, okay? Grinder's my word. Now, if you want to write down the stats, we can tell you that on that first category, 0 to 4, 70% of the points play are in that category. I'm sorry, it just is. I didn't want to believe it. I did my own test on my own kids. It's exactly correct. 20 points, or 20% of the points go between 5 and 9 shots. And only 10% of the points, 1 out of every 10 points, ever reaches 10 rallies in a row. Trust me, I've done it and over and over and over. So the first thing, if I'm going to coach my kid, and I usually will do this literally on the court. I'll be back here and I'll have, if you haven't figured it out, I love doing semi-private lessons where it's 2 players and I can get them hitting with each other, okay? First of all, I'm half crippled, and when I hit, I slice up my backhand. They never see that. It's pretty not normal. So I let them spar with each other, then I'm all over the coaching. If I need technical work, I'll get in on that. So what I'll do is I'll get him in the habit of his huddle. So this is really a script for your huddle. As soon as the point's done, he's going to come. He's going to do his little chill session. He's going to do his one-man huddle and look at his racket so his eyes don't wander. And the first thing he needs to decide is how long of a point should he play. Now remember, he's got factory settings. Maybe he generally likes to play long points. He's a mini Rafa. Well, on any given day, I'd rather play long points. But maybe he's breathing 100 miles an hour and he's not really tired because he just played a long point. And maybe for this upcoming point, he's going to say, I'm going to try to play first strike. Or, because this is what's going to happen. People say, well, coach, that's the first step. Step 1, decide how long the point. Well, I don't know. I don't know which one to pick. Okay, so you got to teach them a little bit. First, what's normal? What are you good at? Okay, my default settings would have been option 1, play a first strike point. But that didn't always make sense for me. If I was on clay, maybe I didn't need to do that. If against a certain person that was a really great counter and passing shot person, maybe you don't want to do that. Point number 2, as soon as you decide that, Harry, you're going to decide about your serve. Okay, now it depends a lot on what they're capable of. But the serve plays that I like to say is decide what zone you're going to hit in. Decide between slow or fast. Oh, by the way, just to identify zones. My serve targets are just go 1 through 6. So I make a line right here, beep, and a line right here, beep. And then this would be area 1, area 2, area 3. This is area 4. Bam, this is 5. Right there is 5, this is 6, okay? So that's what I mean by 1 through 6. Really not, I didn't invent that. I'm sure someone did a million years ago. But that's the targeting system I like. So depending on where you're serving, so let's say Harry's about to play this point. He comes up, he says, okay, I'm going to play a medium long point. That's what my goal is. And I'm going to try to hit what zone? What serve target would be good for you? Due side, okay? But within which one? His out wide? 3, so to the guy's backhand, right? All right, so this is the rec level. At that point, I'm done. If I got my player to take a second, to come up, decide how long the point's going to be, and where he's going to serve as a target, I'm way further ahead than most players. I might take it one step further and say, listen, statistically speaking, this stat is crazy. Rafa and Fed, after they serve, hit a forehand close to 80% of the time. It's not random, folks. It's not 50-50. It's not even 2/3. Close to I think Rafa averages 78, Fed 79. In one match, Rafa had 90. Serve, 90% of the time he hit a forehand. You think that's intentional? I think probably so. Okay, so that might be another thing. I want you just to plan that out. serve and make sure on the next ball you hit your next shot. By the way, if your forehand's really big and your backhand's weak and you want that forehand in the next shot, would it matter where you serve a little bit? Yeah. The more you serve out there, the more angle is coming to your forehand. If the more you serve over there, the more it's going through your backhand. Never thought about that. Well, now you will. All right, so we kind of ease him there. So that's all we're going to do. He's going to decide how long the point. He's going to decide where to serve. He's going to play the point, hopefully getting your best shot in the next ball. Let's go. This is exactly how I would teach it. Go ahead, and then I'm going to make him verbalize it on the next point. So I'm working just with Harry now. Go ahead, Harry, play the point. Sweet, that's a good point. All right, come back, get into your one-man huddle. What do you like to do in your huddle? Pick your strings, okay? Already you're planning. What's the score? 15 love. What's the score in the set? 0-0, first point. Okay, so now Harry, early. So what's the next thing you're going to decide is how long of a point? Long, medium, short. What do you want? Short to medium, okay? Now the last thing you can decide is where the serve is. So go up here. This should happen, by the way, you're deciding that when you come up here. You take your stance, you already know I'm going to be a long point, and now you take one last glance. Okay, I'm going to serve.
2, 4.
4, so up to T, all right? Play a point. Okay, good. No problem. He didn't play a good point. He would come into what? Your one-hand huddle. By the way, on the way to your one-man huddle, should you have a little pee-pee party first, like, and then go into your one-man huddle? No, because the guy already knows. If you double faulted, chances are you're a little agitated right there. That's fine. That's human instinct. You got to flush it. Okay? Don't feel bad that you're angry that you double faulted. I think that's where I blew it. I thought because I got mad that I was flawed. When I was a junior, coach said, don't get mad. You can't be getting mad. And I'm like, how do I not get mad? I want to not get mad. I really want that bad. How do I not do it? What he should have explained better was, look, you're going to get mad because it's human instinct, but you got to let it go within 10 seconds or 4 seconds. Okay? So don't freak out. I didn't hear that piece. All I thought, I'm mad, therefore, that's my problem. I get mad all the time. I must be a jerk. I'll never make it in this sport. So that in and of itself, it's only when you run out the space in there for the whole, a bad call or something can call you a point, but your reaction to it can cost you the match, right? So here we go. What's the score? Or, I'm sorry. It's in the one-man huddle, and how long of a point?
Short to medium.
Okay, short to medium, and where are you going to serve?
1.
Okay, so you're going to serve out wide. Here's what I would do if I was coaching these guys. I would say, Harry, listen, this is the first game. Maybe I would play long, extended points this first game. Why would I want you to do that, Harry? Well, I want to make sure you hit a lot of balls and you don't give any free things away early. So just even though it's not your way you play and maybe not what's even best strategy now, let's get through the first game with just a lot of balls in play and get your confidence up and no freebies. Freebies are the easiest way to make the other guy not get nervous. If you got a nervous opponent, give him a couple double faults. It's like, oh, okay, I can do this. You give him some hope. All right, play again. Some sweet footwork, guys. Now, coaches, as they keep doing this, and I'm in Harry's ear, how long will I have to do? I'll probably literally have to hold them and say, okay, here's your huddle. You're going to do this, or you're going to decide this. Do I have to do that for 2 hours in a row? I got to do it 10 minutes, and then I can release him. Now, will he do it the next time he competes? Maybe not. But at least now he has a clue of what it is. Next practice, hey, I want to try this with you. I want to see it, and then maybe I'm at the post, and I'm not hands-on, but I'm watching. Are you doing it? Maybe once in a while I just have him play, and then I yell out a point. Right, ready to get served, Harry? Get ready to serve. Go ahead and serve. And right when he's in his motion, stop, Harry, stop. What did you decide about where you're going to serve? And see if he answers me. If they all say, well, okay, I know he's not doing it. Hey, dude, you got to do this every point. Get in your huddle. You don't go in the huddle and like all look at each other. Hey, we're all in the huddle. there's a purpose to the huddle. You're calling the play, and the play is situational. All right, so play one more point, guys. Okay, good, kick serve. All right, come on back. So if I, obviously, during point play, all kinds of coaching can happen, right? So Harry's got a pretty good little kick serve. He's forced Timothy to hit a bunch of high, nasty backhands. So I'd be wandering over there pretty soon talking to him about what? Okay, this is tough. Okay, so what do we got to do? Maybe we got to move in. Okay, Harry, come over here. Players, take a little break. Harry, I have a job for you, man. The poor people watching on live stream, maybe they don't have this handout yet. So your job is to do this. I don't know if this will work or not. Hold it here really pretty. Okay. Get a little closer. All right, so coaches, let's go to that second page. This is where, once you think your players are doing that, they're not playing well, but they're in the habit of run plays and actually trying stuff out. Then you can get over the second area. This is just a whole more missions, okay? Now, here's what the cool thing about this, 21 missions here. What you would do on the piece of paper when I print out these papers is I print them out and I give each player one, and then I sit with them and they circle every number of tactic that they can do. But time out. Here's how it's going to go. You're going to say, hey, listen, number one here says move the opponent into zone 6. Can you do that? And if I'm sitting here with the players, what's every player going to do? Yeah, circle it. That's not how you do this. It's going to be worthless. The real measure is you got to paint this picture. So imagine you're all going to customize this little this table for you. All right, so here's the scenario. It's 4-4 in the third set. You've been out there 2.5 hours. Not a super contentious match, but it's getting, it's business time. It's coming down to the end. 2 hours of effort. It's going to go one way here pretty soon. So that's the scenario. It's 4-4. That's what I want you to think of when you answer this. At 4-4 in the third, would you have the confidence to try to deploy moving the guy back? Now, if you say, yeah, I would do that, now circle it. Okay, number 2, sneak in, and if you do that, sneak in and pick off a volley. Coach, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to have sphincter problems for sure. I can back him up, but for me to come in at 4-4, I'll be too nervous at the net. Okay, don't circle it. All right, and then we go forward. And we go through each one of those. And now what I do, corny as it is I have this little booklet, and there's my lesson plan for the next month with those kids, or several months. So it looks here like you're not really good at rushing the net. You really don't, you didn't do number 4. It doesn't look like slices. You're not really, that certain volley, you didn't circle that one. You're not really comfortable playing from way back. And this is data. Okay, but I'm telling you, if you have your players kind of customize that by circling it, it's really easy, because that book that you're getting today has the same thing. They're going to go through all the pages and customize what they can do. And the first several times I did it, everybody circled everything. I'm like, no way you're serving volley, dude. You can't even serve volley. They think, they think they can physically do it. Yeah, I can serve and I can volley, and I'll do it right now for you. But I'm saying I don't care about that. I want to know what's deployable. What's deployable? There's a whole bunch of shots here that you have in storage, and only 4 or 5 out of the garage to go to war with them. Okay, all the other soldiers in your barn, they're peeing their pants. Okay, so I play a war. I'm going to come up. Here's my little war. I got to play Mick. All right, I got Slice. Get up here. Moonballer, get up here. These are all my soldiers in my war. I'm the general, dude. I'm running it. Hey, heavy top spin. Get over here. Big serve. Get over here. And I got my little soldiers, and I go to war with them. Okay, in the middle of the match, all of a sudden it's like, man, Mick is on fire. I got to hit a drop shot. He's beating my face from the baseline. Okay, so I'm going to go in. So, ready, volley guy? Here we go. And the volley guy comes in, and he's like, sorry, coach, I went in there. He killed me. All right, get the hell out of here. You're out. Okay? All right. I can't do that against Mick. Okay, drop shot. We cannot play Mick from the baseline. We got to bring him in. Boom, he pees his pants. He doesn't want to even come out. I don't want to, I'm not going to drop shot at 4-4. Okay, so that's really how you think of it. You go to war with the arsenal you have. A whole bunch of our players have really small armies. I can rip ground strokes, and that's it. Okay. I'll try pretty hard. I'll run good. And that's it. Well, what happens if your ripping is it's not going to win today? Well, all my other soldiers, they're peeing their pants back in the barracks. They're not coming out. Okay, so that's our job. Remember, the job of a tennis player is to add more and more usable tactics so that you can beat a wider range of opponents. All right, so we're getting near the guys. I'm going to have some handouts for you, but first I want to see if there's questions. I don't know if there's questions or were any on the... Okay, so let's try to answer for the live stream audience. Thanks, Harry.
All right, so let's give Jorge a hand. First of all, nice job, Jorge. He's probably done that a bunch of times. All right, so number one, if you didn't get the green strategy book, they're on the table over here. So make sure you pick up one of those books. It's an amazing book. It gives you all the different tactics to play against all different styles of players. Tells you 6 things to do, 3 things to avoid. It's great. I always say it's nice to use when you're losing. Don't use it when you're winning, playing your A game, and then change your game plan around because Jorge told you to. All right, make sure if you're playing your A game and you're doing well, you probably won't need that book. All right, so I had a couple questions, Jorge, on the line actually. One was, and I think you answered this a little bit, but what is the average number? This is from Nicholas. What is the average number of shots in a point played by juniors compared to a point played by pros?
Great question. And actually, all this data, to be fair, comes from Craig Oshansky's website's Brain Game Tennis. That was the number one question a lot of coaches had when Craig started sharing these stats, where these are from the pros, right? So he has the same data from Canada and USA, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of points, and the identical. The breakdown is identical. 70% of the points are between 0 and 4 rallies, 20% between 5 and 8, and only 10% 9 or more. By the way, just a personal story. When I first heard that, I read that. I know Craig pretty well. I call him. I go, really? Is this? And of course, my question was, not for juniors, though. For juniors, it'd be longer, right? Because one of Craig's big things is that we practice the wrong way. We're constantly making the practice court looks like steady, get 100 balls in a row, but in reality, the match court looks different. So that very weekend, I had the Quarter One Memorial. It's a tournament you'll know. And I had several of my players. So I went and I charted 4 matches. I made a little rough charting chart. And all I did, and I had the parents do it, I go, write down how, 0 to 4, 5, those are my columns, 5 to 9, 10 plus. Whatever the rally length is, just mark it. So if the ball went 6 ball, you'd put it in that second column. If my player won it, he would circle it. This is what I had the parents do. Then I had the data, and then I did it, and gosh darn it, it was 70, 20, 10 on all 4 matches that and one of my players I would have classified as a very aggressive baseliner, and the other ones kind of grew up on clay. And I thought, well, for sure the clay guy is like the baby Rafa, he's going to have a longer point. Nope, didn't happen.
All right, one more, and then I'll let you guys go. Questions if you have them. So I had a call, actually. I guess they didn't want to put their name online, but it said, what is the determining factor of which hitting zones you should be aiming for? Is it the level, or are there other factors you should try to hit particular shots to keep the balls out of the strike zone you're not comfortable with? So which one should you hit to them? Is it based on level, or are there other factors? And then what kinds of things can you do or should you do to keep balls out of the strike zones that you don't want to hit in?
Okay, so I think it's all opponent dependent, okay? So you can make a general statement that deeper shots, balls that landed 4, are better for you. That's a general statement. Here's what a lot of people don't get. The way they try to hit to 4, like you saw the exercise when people were trying to race to 4, most balls don't land in 4, so it takes a while to get them into 4. And if you have a race like 6 number 4 balls or something, how long it takes, that's a good drill. But most people, when they hit short, they're hitting 3s. And say, get it to 4, let's go, you got to hit it deeper, you're getting all 3s, you need 4s. How do they do it? How do they try to do it? Do you think they hit higher, or do you think they hit harder? Most players try to hit harder. That's one way, okay? And we'll put a little more depth on it. But a way better way, and what the pros do, is hit higher. One of my big wishes is that they would film TV pro matches from the side, because you would see how high the ball goes over the net. Okay, it's way higher than you think. When they film regular television from up 30 rows up, even a loopy ball kind of seems like a straight ball. But if you get live down on the court, you can be the side, you can see it go high. So I would say it's per opponent, but the general statement would be deeper the better, okay? Because they can't really hurt you that way. Now, for your own self, just a self-audit of your strike zones, okay? Know what you are here. Most people are going to say, they're going to have stronger grades on their forehand, lower grades on their backhand, and a high backhand. Very few people say, oh, that's my favorite shot, okay? So if you know that, that's the one thing you can take away is just get really good at hitting loopy balls to people's backhand. I think the number one play that Craig says is the best thing you can do on the court is make your opponent hit a backhand in strike zone 4 while backing up. If you can do those things, that should be your only mission in life. Which, by the way, sounds a lot like Rafa, okay, when he plays Fed. So regarding your side, have an audit so you know where you're good, The pros don't stand in the middle. They stand off center for a reason because they want to hit their best shot. And if you struggle with zone 4, you can make an argument like, I'm not going to hit deep because when I hit deep, that gives that guy a likely ball they can hit short. So if I hit slices short, maybe that land in zone 2 and pull my opponent into the court, now it's harder for him to loop it. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm here, that person does not want a loopy backhand. If they give me something back here, this is where I send loopy backhands. It's easy to send that from here. But if I'm up in here, that's not where you send that. It's harder. So you can kind of reverse engineer that and say, I'm going to protect my weak high backhand, but not getting into a rally with these guys. Because this guy, as soon as we start moonballing and hitting, pushing each other deep, he's better at it. Okay, and my backhand is way too weak. So how about questions from our president? Thought we went for the glasses. Yes, Coach. Yeah, so, yeah, the question was the strategy on serves. I don't know why I have that. I'm just holding it there. So one thing I know for sure is double faults are contagious. If someone double faults early in the game, in a match, if you double fault twice your first serve game, the next time you serve, when you miss your first serve, what happens? The devil comes right on your shoulder and says, oh, you're going to double fault because it's fresh in your mind. If you can get through the first couple serve games without double faults and then you serve, it's not the first thing that pops in your mind. I've told a lot of my players, and this is really even for pretty high level players, I want to see you get through the first serve game that you serve without any, so not even that many second serves. Second serves are against a double fault. That's how my coach used to explain it. So I want not a slow serve, but an aggressive spin serve, like a second serve that's a little bit more aggressive. Obviously, it depends on skill. If you got a person that's just tapping, they can't probably do that. But I would make sure the first game to game and a half, I would be serving super smart, which is a high percentage of first serves. If you miss your first serve, in my opinion, I like people's second serve to be almost always the same. If you watch the pros, it's almost always there's not nearly as much variety on their second serve. It's almost always a kick serve to the backhand, okay? But the first serve can be all over the place. And I like that, okay? I don't like that much variety. I think the second serve, you hit your best serve to the guy's weakest side, your safest serve. The biggest problem probably is people don't give enough racket head speed. They kind of guide it, and then they chicken out. But that's something the coach can help with quite a bit. I'd like to hear from you guys. I want a question for you guys. What of all this? We heard a lot of stuff. We talked about tennis IQ, talked about poker, the 50% chance. We talked about those awareness games. Remember those? They went into missions. They went into how to play a point, how to actually physically tell them. First thing you do, then you decide this and you decide that. And then you can take it to the next level and you can say, look, coach, you're playing her. We know this about her, so you're going to run these particular plays that work good against her. Because maybe slice is great for her. By the way, I would like to back up and just make one big thing I think I forgot to say. If you're playing your plan A, which is what I think you should try, every time you come out, you play your plan A, whatever you do best. And if you're winning, you don't do any of this crap. You just win, okay? If you're winning, and don't get crazy, okay? This is only for those other 50% of the time where I might not win, or it's going to be close. I might have to try some new things. If you're winning, you definitely don't want to say, I'm going to Coach Jorge's idea of moonball, I'm going to try to deploy that and just do whatever's working. Okay, I assumed that, but sometimes players don't. So I want to know what you might try. Let me hear what you're going to try as a player, as a coach, from all the things that we covered. What might you likely try? Drill-wise, anything. Coach. Okay, those awareness games, color coding and depth coding in particular. Yeah, great question. Well, what level do I do it with? So here's the thing. When I speak to coaches, which I get to do a lot, often I'll have pretty good hitters like I did today. I've been on a coaches convention. I got coaches hitting a lot of times. All this stuff, I believe you can do it with 3-0 players all the way down to 3-0. Okay, 2-5s might struggle. But understand, it won't look like these kids. It'll look like 3-0. But they're going to be doing it at their level at 3-0, getting the idea. They still can benefit from what they're learning and saying, man, 3-0s are probably going to have a lot of 2s in that depth coding game. And you can say, wow, they need to know that too. These guys didn't have a ton of 2s. They had some 2s, but they had a lot of 4s today. Okay, they're a different level. So that's a good question. And I think I do it literally with 3-0 all the way to national. Yeah, so the buy-in, I think this is important. I think that the job of a coach, we got to be a salesman, not only for the idea, for the concept of the drill. We're selling the idea of what we're working on. And I figured a few things out that I can help you with that. I think I'm actually one of the things I do well. So here's the deal. There's a system that you use called PAS, Pain, Agitation, Solution. Okay? Pain, this you get. So let's say I'm going to work with some 3-0, 3-5 women, whatever, on the coding and strike zone coding. And of course, you can imagine to hit and then say stuff at the same time. There's going to be a handful. I can't do it, it's stupid. I don't want to try it. Okay? So what I do is I'll just start asking questions. I do this in my high school class. I do a drill where I want to work on coming into the net for my high schoolers. If I just do the drill, there's going to be rebellion because kids won't like it. I'm not good at it. So here's how I would set up that drill. Guys, high school players, we just started high school tennis in Michigan last week. How many here play high school tennis? All my kids. I'm starting to ask questions and get engagement, but my questions are ones I already know. How many of y'all here play high school tennis? Well, it's a high school tennis class, so everybody plays high school tennis. But I make them physically raise their hand. Okay. How many here have ever come to the net and got burned by your feet? I know the answer. But raise your hand if that's happened. Ready, Cody? Raise your hand if you've come in and you've got a zinger at your shoelace. Yeah. Okay, and I'm getting buy-in. So they don't know what's going on. By the way, that takes 4 seconds so far. All right, next question. How many have coaches in high school that kind of want you to come in? Raise your hand if you got that. Yeah, we do. Man, so you're saying your coach wants you to come in, but isn't it a murder when you get these little nasty rippers at your feet? Yeah, doesn't it want to make you want to stay back? Yeah. Okay, all that is the pain and the agitation. Just reminding them what I already know, which is you're not good at this, and it's going to screw you in tryouts. Okay? So then I said, this drill works exactly on those skills. And then I show them the drill, and they're way more open-minded. Women on my travel team, my 3-0 travel team, I'm going to lob you. Better way. Hey, guys, watch. How many of you guys, when you play, your opponents are lobbing the hell out of you? Guess what? Everybody's hands go up. Really? How many hate that? You get out there, you're playing good tennis, point the thread. Who hates that? Yeah, we hate that. Okay, 100% buy-in. Okay, this drill is going to work on that. So you see that little thing? And I've gotten even some pretty hardened criminals that are just like buy in because, yeah, I'll get it. So it's all that little way of delivering it. But too many pros don't. They just, hey, come on, we're doing overheads. You guys, so you guys lob, I'm going to lob you tough, and there's no explanation of why, and they just go right into it, and a lot of people are like, I don't like it. Even though the drill may be good. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Okay, so the question is, you got high schoolers, you got middle schoolers, and a vast variety of abilities, okay? Are they together, Coach, in the same practice or not? Okay. All right, so what we're really talking about is modification skills. How can I take middle schoolers? Well, first of all, I will admit this. If the person is at a skill level that they can't even rally, then none of this is going to work, okay? Because it's all dependent on the rally. We got to rally back and forth and to discover. So remember, those 4 games that we played in the beginning were awareness games, or that's what I call them, because it just creates awareness. All the things that we do in those things, my players didn't have a clue on before. Do you know where your balls bounce? Nope. Do you know where your strike zone was? Nope. Do you know where their strike zone was? Nope. Do you know what's for your strike zone? Nope. They don't know anything, okay? So I just started using these games, and I'm kind of good with games, and I thought this is how we're going to teach them, and just make them be aware. And I'll just say, let's try this, and they'll try it, and then I'll come up. So what do you think? What did you see? What did you see? I'm not really telling them, we're going to do this, and this is what you're going to find out. I just let them discover it. I got in a drill I just saw down at Lake Nona. I want to try it. You hit back and forth. You call how deep it is. Let's just try it, see what happens. Then you come and huddle. Hey, did everybody get 4s? No. Man, wasn't it hard to hit 4s? Holy crap, I just figured it out. And you go like that. Now, for that level, for modification, I have done this with middle school. I work at a club. I don't work at Bollettieri's. I got 12-year-olds who are beginners at tennis. They come in, they're trying tennis at age 14. So I live in your world too. So if they, if I have to do this with modified balls, I'll do it. Okay, my wife teaches an orange ball class. It's hard for them to rally, frankly, from back here. So, but we'll call zones. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, that's where we're going to leave it. And we just do it with an orange ball. And if they can't do that, we'll do it with a red ball. Just so they can get the idea, but they're going to have it modified, in that case, with equipment or court size. But they're still going to say, I'm going to hit this red ball and see how hard you got to hit it to hit it back in Zone 3, which is the deepest zone right now. You got to wail on it. And say, okay, how are you going to do that? I can't hit it deep. Okay, so teaching moment. You got to go higher, you got to go this way. Power begets power, and this is one of my problems with junior tennis, is everybody thinks, I'm going to hit it harder, that's how we're going to win. I'm going to hit it so hard they can't handle it. But if you're playing anybody with any skill, the harder you hit it, the harder it comes back. Power begets power. So you get into a slugfest, and maybe that is good for you, and if you're winning that slugfest, God bless you, don't do anything different. But I'm dealing with the people that are in the slugfest that are losing, and they're too dumb to check out. I'm not going to slugfest anymore. I'm going to try some other stuff. But that's a good question. Any other coaches? How are we doing on time? Okay, guys, listen, I'm very thankful that you came out. It's a beautiful night. I ordered this weather. I'm from Michigan, where it's probably snowing right now. For those of you that joined us online, thank you. I'm going to ask Mick to put on the same page you're watching the links to the PDFs. I am going to be back here on Thursday from 7 to 9 again. Different feel. It's going to be group lessons. I'm going to have the Hope College tennis team down here. They're good players, 4, 5, and up. And we're going to show you all kinds of drills that you would do with 4 to 6 on the court, and then we'll end with a couple cool drills that you would do when there's only 2 on the court. All right, so thanks again for coming out. Make sure you get all your stuff, and thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks to the hitters, rock stars. Timothy, you get their autograph.
This has been an absolutely amazing experience all around, every single day.
Simply amazing. It blew me away.
National campus has been beautiful. Everything about it, the knowledge, everything that these tennis pros can give to us. Sometimes you take it for granted how smart and knowledgeable people are in this industry.
Working on this beautiful campus is a plus. It's very window, sunshine all the time. And then college match days have been the best experience so far for me.
Hi, it's Coach Mick, and I just want to say, first of all,
Okay, check out this game called Switch. Pete, the athletes have to follow me.
Hi, I'm Coach Mick, Director of Experiential Learning right here at the USTA National Campus in Orlando, Florida. And in the last 2 months since we've been open, we've hosted the TCA Directors Workshop with directors from all over the country. We've hosted 40 ambassadors for our Net Generation program. Just last week, we hosted some PTM students from Ferris State University and Methodist University, where they took a workshop every day from an expert right here on campus. And also our Jorge Capestany workshops, which happened on the 21st and the 23rd of this month, where 80 pros and providers and players came from all over the country to see his tennis IQ and world-class tennis drills workshops. Now, our goal here at USTAU is to take this learning lab here, the USTA National Campus, and provide you with content both physically right here on campus and virtually through recorded workshops and live stream workshops. So take a look at this video, and I hope you enjoy what we've done here so far and can see the possibilities of what can happen here at the USTA National Campus. Hi, I'm Coach Mick.
This has been an absolutely amazing experience all around, every single day.
Simply amazing. It blew me away.
National campus has been beautiful. Everything about it, the knowledge, everything that these tennis pros can give to us. Sometimes you take it for granted how smart and knowledgeable people are in this industry.
Working on this beautiful campus, it's a class with very window, sunshine all the time, and then college match days have been the best experience so far for me.
Hi, it's Coach Mick, and I just want to say, first of all,
Okay, check out this game called Switch. Pete, the athletes have to follow me.
Hi, I'm Coach Mick, Director of Experiential.